Welcome back. It's still the conversation on Morning Spring, and we are still having the conversation on the big celebration of our dear country, Nigeria. Nigeria at 64. The journey so far, what progress have we made? We have right with us in the studios this beautiful morning a financial expert and former legislator, Tunde Olatunji. Thank you so much for coming on board.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
All
Happy
right, let's just
Independence.
happy Independence Day to you and happy new month.
Thank you.
Let's just get right into it. What's your impression of our journey so far as uh, an independent nation? 64 years of independence. How do you think we have fared, from your own opinion?
Well, for me, it's a mix of progress and challenges. Nigeria is not where we all expect it to be, but at the same time, is not where it used to be. So we've had our own share of progress, and we have significant challenges as well. And I believe that it is a nation that is so blessed with what it takes to overcome its challenges. Every great nation had to overcome their challenges to be great. And I believe that collectively we can have the Nigeria of our dream.
In your own opinion, where do you think Nigeria should be at this time, or ought to have been, ought to have reached at this time? You made mention of we are not where we are supposed to be, but we are not where we used to be. So, in your own opinion, where do you think we should be at this time in the year
Well,
2024?
well, looking at what we are assessing, look the expectations of our founding fathers, we had expected a much more united nation. Let me say country, because we're a country of nations, and we had also expected that in terms of economic development, we have the potentials for it to be better than what it is today. In terms of the well-being of the people, generally the welfare and security and all that, we expected it to be better. But again, we may not really appreciate where we are today without having a retrospect of where we're coming from. That's why I said, compare Nigeria at independence with what we have today, we would be unfair to ourselves to not see anything that is worthy of acknowledging in terms of the progress that we have recorded, because that is also a function of the sacrifices and the efforts of our forefathers, our founding fathers, and all of us collectively. At the same time, we must not also be ignorant of the fact that there are areas where we have not been able to meet our own expectations and the expectations of our forefathers. So that's why I say it's a mix of what is. So those are some of the areas that we expect that Nigeria should be. If you compare it with some other nations that gained independence, around that time or even a little before, I mean, you realize that some of them, not all, have been able to, take the destiny of their nation in their hands and achieve better. But also, we have the opportunities always there. No nation is built without overcoming their challenges.
In what areas do you think we could have done better, but we haven't?
Well, I just talked about, for instance, the economic development of the nation. I talked about the unity of Nigeria as a whole. You talk about because I mean there are still some conversations we still have about our collective existence as a country. Even 64 years later, and that shows that there are issues of unity. We also talk about the fact that Nigeria, in terms of the potentials that we have and what would take the human capital, most importantly, as well as other resources, Nigeria could as well done well, economically than what it has done today. So, in terms of the well-being of the people, the welfare, how well are people faring? I think we also have what it takes to make the nation do better than what it is. Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about, you are a leader, of course, of influence. In fact, at some point, you had the mandate of your people to represent them at the Osun State House of Assembly. You are the chief whip. So it's good to talk to you as well about leadership. And would you say, because we are speaking truth to power now, because many Nigerians, especially young persons, are thinking, yeah, we know the efforts of our founding fathers, but maybe after independence, down the line, maybe leaders from the 80s or even the 70s dropped the ball in terms of uniting us, because you talked about where people, different nations inside a particular entity called Nigeria, the agitation 64 years down the line, some persons are talking about being marginalized. Either, the evidence are there for them, by the way, to say, we don't feel like we are part of this country. Agitations from the southeast, at a point in the southwest, some persons in the middle belt are feeling like a victim because they are being constantly overrun by bandits, and in which they feel maybe there is a kind of cleansing, and the government at all levels have always been looking away. Will you say leaders have done a bad job in terms of uniting us and giving everybody a sense of responsibility, even in 2024?
Well, nobody built a great
sense of inclusion, I mean.
Yeah, nobody builds a great nation just by mere, actions of great men. You need to build great institutions, and that is a function of the architecture that runs the country. Every nation has its own peculiarity. Yeah. And then one of the major challenge that Nigeria has had over time was the fact that, we can no longer continue. I don't like to also only talk about, what did not make something happen or what the problems are. But again, we can't take away the fact that the military interregnum was a big disaster to the growth of democracy in Nigeria. However, we've left there. The question is, what type of nation are we running in its true sense, and what should it be? Any nation that is, that just diversity like Nigeria does. And you talk of nations like India; those are particular example, even the United States and all of that. It has been proven that the best form of structure or form of governance you should adopt in a democracy is usually that which allows, the federalism to be true. Today, you refer to us as, the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And my position over the time, and I'm here to change my mind, is that Nigeria is a federation in nomenclature, but not in true practice. And that's why the concept of true federalism must come. When you talk about federalism, the federating units must be recognized. And they have the power, which they now, devolve some of it to the center. But what we have today is like an hybrid of a unitary and a federal system at the same time. And so when people begin to have that sense of non-belonging in the system that they call they are, those agitations will continue. And so it is not also going to be possible in modern day governance and development to say that it is just the mere act of a strong man or a few strong men that will build this nation. We need to come up with an architecture that works, that is a perfect fix for us. And for me, it is in the fact that we have agreed that we are federation, and we must also run a federal system in its true sense, not to just be called Federal Republic of Nigeria by appellation or by nomenclature, but in its true practice. But as it is today, over the years, Nigeria has, in a number of ways, violated the basic concept of federalism, and that will continue to be there. If you give, when you allow people to have, that does not mean that you want to divide Nigeria. That's not what we are advocating. We're saying that let everybody be able to grow, to be able to develop at his own pace. Right. Let people have that sense of belonging, that this is our nation, these are countries. So it's about everybody contributing to the bigger federation that you call Nigeria, and such has made it easier for countries like India to be able to manage itself with the same diversity that it has in Nigeria. It's one democracy that has so many similarities with Nigeria. And so if it means us reviewing what stitches us together, which we call the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria, it will be out of place. India has one of the most amended constitutions in the world. It has been amended more than 100 times. They have amended it severally until they're able to come up with a structure that they feel suits them. Right. So there's no structure that is casted in stone, no constitution is casted in stone. There are even nations without codified constitution. They are guided by mere act of parliament. And so it has also been proven that mere constitution does not make a country to prosper or to work well.
All right.
It's about how you want to run.
It's a piece that we are really short of time. One of these days we'd like to have you so that we have a full blast with you. But, as we run it off, you were a parliamentarian, and you're talking about constitution and the amendment. We have a constitutional amendment committee in place now, the National Assembly, and they have been trying to do something. But recently, the Patriots, some of these elder statesmen came together. They visited the president to say, maybe we should jettison this constitution. It's not working. It's not an agreement of the people. Let's have a people's constituent constitution, the ones that everybody has contributed in. Let's do away with the national constitution and have a brand new one. Where do you stand in all of this? And let me just add this quickly. The president has spoken this morning in commemoration on the anniversary to say, I feel your pain. We're in this together. Please be patient. Nigerians are not having that. They are saying, you keep telling us, but your lifestyle is showing otherwise. Where do you stand? These 2 points. Quickly.
Well, for me, I mean, I'll just continue from where I stopped. There's so many ways by which a country can evolve a new constitution. You could do it with your existing legislature structure. You can decide to even bring people together as delegates and say, okay, later. We've had it in the past. There's a sovereign national conference. We've had confab, in the past and all of that. They are good. Whatever works for Nigeria, whatever will midwife the Nigeria of our dream is important. But we must add, and like I had it, mere constitution amendment does not make a country to work. Yeah. So we must be willing as a people to say we want to develop a country of our dream. And how do you do it? You must build such countries. Province of Monaco has the smallest constitution in the world. In terms of GDP per capita, the prosperity of its people is more prosperous than countries with very voluminous constitution. So it is not, that's why I said there are even countries without codified constitution. Because what runs even a constitution is the people. What you have today as a constitution of Nigeria, the question we must even begin to interrogate is what percentage of our constitution are you adhering to as a people?
All right.
These are conversations. And in terms of leadership and leadership style, I want to believe that every country has a role in developing and building what it deserves or what it desires. In leadership, accountability is key. You cannot talk about leadership without accountability. Right. And at the same time, when you talk about followership, you can't talk of followership without responsibility. So if you want to build a nation of your dream, the balance equation is accountable leadership, responsible citizenry, and then you have a country that flourishes.
Wow, amazing take there. Thank you so much for your time. Unfortunately, we are out of time, but like Femi said, we'd like to have you one of these days so we can speak elaborately on issues that borders on governance. Thank you so much, Tunde Olatunji, financial expert and former legislator, for your time you take and your submission on the show this morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for inviting me.
Happy Independence Day once again. And people, this is where we draw the curtains on the show this morning. Thank you for being a part of the special Independence Day edition of Morning Spring. We'll make a return tomorrow for another interesting time. Until then, my name is Evelyn Ohiole. Happy celebration to us all. Happy Independence Day and Happy New Month.
Of course, Happy New Month. Happy Independence Day celebration as well. You go have a recap of this program on our YouTube channel on Western Spring TV. Femi Ojo is my name, and whatever you do, be responsible. We'll make a return tomorrow, God willing.